So here we are back at Wolf Industries, ready to do a testimonial with our client here, Steve. I asked him to stop by on his way back from his own project where he did the site development and all the on-site stuff. What would you say to somebody that is interested in looking at our product and they're thinking, hey, I want to save $1, do my own site work and so forth. So if you can share with the customers what you found and run with that.
Sure. Well, first of all, I want to say that I was very happy with the customer service and the support that I had. I felt like when I had questions, people were willing to talk with me and take the time because I think if you're going to do your own site work, you have to
the phone rings and rings.
Even if it rings and rings. Now, but I understand that's changing. No, I think that if you're going to do your own site work, one of the things going into it is to make sure you do all your research. So one of the things that we found as we went through the process was that we didn't necessarily anticipate all the roadblocks along the way. Uh-huh. So as someone who's not a contractor, but who's done quite a bit of construction, I felt pretty confident in terms of what needed to happen and how to be the general. But where I ran into challenges, and some of these are on my own end, was, for example, did not know that the well was not permitted. So had to go through a whole process of working with the county to get a permitting process done. So that added about close to $2,000 of expense that I hadn't anticipated.
So if we take out the cost of your additional septic system and we try and do a little bit of an apples to apples, right? And you paid yourself for a reasonable fee for what you were doing the site general contracting, if you will, right? Would you say that your cost came in at ours, below ours, or above ours?
It's probably below, but I don't know what the savings was.
Right, and that's the real nut that I'm curious about.
Yeah, because the problem is, how do you price your time?
I'm just saying.
Right? I will say this. I'll say this.
A good project is $75 an hour.
$75.
If you threw 100 hours at it, $7,500, just for conversation's sake.
I would say that I probably ended up saving about $5,000. I mean, not a huge amount. Mm-hmm. Net delivered.
Yep.
The cost that I would have incurred, if I'm doing the math right, was somewhere between $13,000 to $15,000 to do the site prep, and not including all the additional costs.
Yep.
So then, of course, there is the cost of delivery.
Yep.
And then what I loved about working with you guys was when there were any issues associated with the delivery, you came out, you took care of them. And I will say that it certainly was eye-opening. There was the headache of dealing with all of the little things like the conduit and the electrical system, the
ticky-tack details.
Well, it's all the stuff that it's part of the deal, right? I mean, it always comes up. That part was really a pain in the ass. And so if somebody like I'm the kind of person that I like doing this stuff, and so there's the headache. Yeah, and right. I would say doing it again because of all the additional costs, because I went in expecting initially to pay $42,000, and now end of the day I'm probably all in $67,000 on what I thought was going to be a simple install, but because if you discount my time, for me it was a learning experience, although it was a painful one at that.
Yep.
I probably ended up saving a considerable money, but at the same time, it came at a
price.
So, I was in the car back and forth and supervising and working. And a lot of it comes down to this thing would have gone off the rails if I hadn't had the right people coming to the table. Yeah. Again, if anyone's going to do this, you had better make sure that you're working with contractors that know you. I came up today to get the final occupancy, and the guy was like, he was just having a cigarette when I got there, never walked in the house, never walked around the house. He just said, "Oh, this is a Wolf modular. I don't need to see it." I was like, "Well, thank you for wasting my time." But I mean, it speaks to the fact that, people have a lot of respect for your products, and it saves me a lot of time. So knowing that at least I didn't have to worry about things breaking.
So putting a wrap on this, would you recommend? It sounds like for an expert DIY that wants to get their fingernails dirty, that cares about themselves. What I'm hearing you say is, yeah, it might be worth doing again. Use good contractors that work diligently or close with Wolf or whatever, and be prepared for a lot of ticky-tack details.
Yes, you have to know what you're getting in. You're going to get. It's a pain in the ass. It's really hard, right? It's really.
I didn't pay you to say
it's
that.
A pain in the ass.
Well, you paid me for that.
If you do not have the right contractors at the table alongside you who know how to do this, because I really didn't know how to do it.
Yes.
They walked me through it, and they were just really good people.
Yeah.
I put together the dream team, and that's what saved my. If I hadn't had that, it would have been a nightmare. And I would strongly suggest that you don't do this unless you have the right people and you're willing to invest the time. And
I couldn't have said it better. I really couldn't have.